how to deal with fear. The Oxford Dictionary gives the meaning for fear as a painful emotion caused by impending danger or evil, or by an imaginary obstacle or loss, or a confrontation with one whom one dislikes. That's the definition that the Oxford Dictionary gives. And what is the power that we need to confront this terrible demon? And that is courage. And then what is courage? Again, courage is not the attitude to go for extraordinary things like bungee jumping and all those things. That's not courage. That's rashness. It is to face an antagonist without whimper and with confidence. That's called courage. You are confronted by an enemy. Enemy whom you can see outside or feel all around you or inside you. Is inside you. And how to deal with that enemy? Without whimper and with confidence. That is called courage. There are people who will never become disheartened. Means they never lose heart. They never lose hope. They never lose confidence in themselves. They are always cheerful. They are the courageous people. As Sri Ramakrishna says in the Gospel, come confusion, come delusion. When confusion comes, we are frightened. When delusion comes, we want to get rid of that, get out of it. But he says, come confusion, come delusion. If you dare, come to me. That's called courage. He is inviting them to come to him if they dare. Confusion and delusion. He does not have any difficulty in facing them. So courage is not audacity or rashness. Courage is the happy emotion produced by self-confidence or real faith in one's capacities and having the correct knowledge about the magnitude of the danger and the determination to face it. It's not rashness. If you don't understand the magnitude of the danger enemy in front of you, then it will be rash if you go forward. But you understand, estimate the magnitude of its power, and then brace yourself in order to face it. In Sri Krishna's life, there are instances where Sri Krishna never waited for dangers to come. Rather, he went forward to meet them before they came to him. He anticipated. That is why he could say again and again, be fearless, be fearless. He was fearlessness itself. Abhayam sattva samshuddhi. That Betty quoted, the first in the long list of the beautiful characteristics and qualities that we are asked by Sri Krishna to cultivate and develop within us. The first one is abhayam. Bhayam, fear. Abhayam, fearlessness. Then comes a long list. If you don't have that fearless attitude in you, you won't be able to have the strength to cultivate the other qualities. They are difficult. And difficult qualities are the good qualities. Easy ones you don't go for. They are useless. But it is the human being who can cultivate deliberately fearlessness. Animals cannot have, you remember. One day the deer decided, oh, I will cultivate fearlessness. Even if the lion comes, I will be fearless. That's silly. If the human being, so tiny in stature compared to the lion, decides that I will be fearless even if the lion comes, he will be able to manipulate his situation. Because, as Ranganathananda Maharaj says in his commentary on the Gita, no animal can control its feelings. It acts impulsively. But the human being can control his feelings by using his intellect. Emotions need not lead him into situations and wrong actions. He can be his own master and the master of the environment about him. That is how he builds up his personality in such a way that he can face the lion. I have told you the story. Many of you have heard that all the animals one day had a huge conference. They say in those days animals also used to have conferences in order to decide a world situation. Things have come to such a pass that we are all in danger. They deliberated upon that point. From whom? From that two-legged animal whose head is up in the sky. Not like us. We are all like that. They stand erect. They walk on two legs. Fearful, and they can talk. They communicate with each other. We also do, not like that. They are terrible animals. And they have got many, many cunning ways in order to trap us and kill us. So we have to find a way to get out of their clutches. So in the conference they decided they would approach the Creator for help. So some representatives, as we do, a big deputation, went to the Creator. The Lord, God, the Lord of the world, was sitting on his throne. All the animals had come. What do you want? We want help. What kind of help? One by one they came forward. The same story. We don't have any way of fighting with or escaping from that two-legged animal which you have created. They are cunning. We are straightforward. The enemy comes, we jump. We are not cunning. We don't know all the tricks that they know. They don't behave in the same way today as they did yesterday. So the technique that we had yesterday, we can't use today. They are very cunning. So then, each animal was given something which would protect it from this two-legged animal. So the snake got the poison, the tiger got the claws and the sharp teeth, the deer got very swift running legs. Like that everybody got something or other. Word got around. Human beings heard that. My goodness, we can't run fast, we can't fly, we don't have poison to inject into people, we don't have claws and teeth, we can't swim. All these special benefits that God has given these creatures, we don't have. We are simple human beings. We can't run fast, we have got only two legs. And we are so feeble. What can we do? They also had a huge conference, world conference, and they chose representatives and went as a deputation to God. Now what do you want? So they said, we We don't know how to escape from these animals to whom you give all these special benefits and powers. What are you going to give us? We also deserve. Then he said, when you were born, I have already kept something within you. Use that. You have to remember, your body is erect. Means generative system, digestive system, emotional system, all these things are one above the other. The heart, the feeling system is here above all the others. And then on top of that, in a very safe, hardcore case, I have kept something that is special for you. They don't know that. And that is the intellect, the brain. Use that. If you don't use that, you will be no better than these animals, minus their special characteristics. Use that. That is what is said here. Emotions need not lead him into situations and wrong actions. He can be his own master and the master of the environment about him. We can, to use Ranganathan Maharaj's language again, we can foresee and far-see. I like that phrase. Man can foresee and far-see. We can see beforehand what could be coming if we will look. If we pause and look. If we go headlong in through life, we would miss what is clearly visible in front of us. But if we pause and look, we can foresee, and also we have got the capacity to far see long into the future. And we can adjust ourselves using our intellect and that is buddhi. We can adjust ourselves and adopt the situation on the spot, which they don't know. They live on the level of the instinct. We are expected to live on the level of the intellect. Think well before you do anything at all. If we can control ourselves, we can control the world, our world. We don't have to think about the entire world. Let it be as it is. My world, I can organize. Swami Vivekananda used to say, adjust the microcosm, the macrocosm will adjust by itself. Your world will adjust by itself if you know how to adjust yourself. The inside of the atom, an unfathomable universe is there. So also is this universe. The inside of the atom is called the tiny, terrible field within the atom. That's the language of Lincoln Barnett in his beautiful book, The Universe and Einstein. See how he calls it? The tiny, terrible field within the atom. Then what about outside? But we have got the capacity to face this world and conquer that world and be master of that world. Simply sitting there and crying won't do. Singing hymns and praying for him won't do. Act in the living present. Look around. This is not the time for crying. By our own folly, we have brought things to such a situation that we don't know what will happen tomorrow. All right, adjust yourself. You're inside. It needs a lot of courage. That's the word again. That's the opposite of fear. Again, fear is mostly of things that won't happen. Emerson says that in a beautiful verse. Some of your hurts you have cured, And the sharpest you still have survived. Otherwise, we will not be sitting here like this. And what torments of grief you endured from evils which never arrived. Many of the evils we anticipated, they didn't come. If they come, this is what we think, if they come. When they come, we will face it. Why do you worry now? There's a saying in India, simply because you are going to be born as a dog in your next birth, should you start licking food now? Eat well, properly. So what blessing you have got now, enjoy that. Rather than looking into the uncertain future, you must have an idea about that, but don't live there in your imaginary world and suffer. So from what torments of grief you endured from evils which never arrived. That is life. Think that. Always think that. Difficulties will come. Be prepared for that. If we are prepared when they come, because we have prepared ourselves half, not knowing for what we are preparing ourselves for, still, we will be able to face them. Always be prepared that things will not continue in the same way for a long time. And we don't like things going in the same way for some time. If things go in the same way for some time, there's a word which Raghunatha Maharaj says has been coined in the last century, bored. We become bored. He said he looked in the dictionary, Johnson's dictionary, the first dictionary that was made, Samuel Johnson's, it was not there. He took it from the library and looked for the word bored or boring. No, it was not there. So when that dictionary was made, that word was not in the English dictionary, English language. It came afterwards. People get bored. So we want change. Be prepared for any change, not the change in the way that we like. But if we are prepared to adjust for anything that comes, life will be an adventure. Life will be an adventure. That is what we do when we go overseas for a trip. We don't know how things are going to be organized there. But we are prepared for changes. But human beings are such that when changes we make, we love it. When we are forced to make changes, we don't like it. That's all. We fast 1 day, 2 days, like that. We like it. We work hard on something that we like. But if we are forced to work hard in the office, complaint upon complaint upon complaint. If one day we have to go without food because of somebody else, and that's complaint. So arrogant we are, egoistic we are, that we don't know how to submit ourselves and adjust to changed circumstances. Be prepared for that. For that, you will have to have self-control. If you have got self-control, you will be able to do it. How to practice this self-control? The prescription is, find out those things which we want to forget and reject and root them out. Don't put up with them. Don't have unnecessary things which really create trouble for us. Find out which are the things that we have to avoid and keep away from them. That's called self-control. My friends are calling me. I don't like going there, but I go because my friends are calling me. Have the courage to say that I don't want to go. How many people can do that? How many people can do that? I will look low in their eyes. It happens. Then what happens? You are not going to become smaller in size. Your money is not going to go away. Nothing is going to happen. In their mind, just a flash of thinking, look, he is not coming finished. Do you think that they will remember that? They have got more important things to think. You are not so important that they would think about you for such a long time. So banish them by filling the mind with high, bright, illumining ideas which will make the heart light. Nature abhors vacuum. And so from the mind and from your life, when you banish all unnecessary things, fill it with necessary things which will elevate us. It's not easy. We have to be remaining within us ourselves, examining ourselves and working on ourselves. Beautiful thoughts, rumination over some beautiful incident or a pleasing holy personality, all these can make the mind heal and then its thinking clear. Remove the darkness. Self-conceit, arrogance, ignorance, which produce anger, jealousy, fear. Remember these three words. Again and again, all the great teachers ask us to root this out. Anger, jealousy, fear. What will they say? That is fear. Let them say anything. I am what I am. I am not going to be less than what I am. Ignorance is darkness, thick darkness. Remove that. It can be removed only by bringing in light. There is a wonderful story. A king once wanted to see around his whole palace. You know, these kings live in huge palaces, but they are not aware what all things are in the palace. Long time ago, in 1977, I was here in Sydney. And usually I don't watch the television, but that brief stay that I had for a few months, during that time I did not have much to do. So I used to watch some interesting things. And one was that the present queen in Buckingham Palace told the people that she heard that there were many wonderful paintings. She came upon them by chance one day in the basement. She wanted to get them dusted and brought up to light. So when I watched that, I thought, see, there are many, many rooms in that palace which she is not even aware of. And when she went to one corner, she found wonderful paintings, and they brought them out, dusted them. And I was surprised to see the beauty of those paintings, of all her ancestors and other people. Beautiful paintings. And they were there with nobody to look at. So, such is the case with many of the kings. They live in these huge palaces. They frequent only a small part of the palace, and the rest of it, what is there, they don't know. One day, one king happened to wander into some part. He climbed down steps and found himself in absolute darkness. He said, what? You know, all these kings have a part of their brain silly. You know that? They are not very intelligent as you and I. This king saw that darkness and said, what? So much darkness in my palace, it has to be removed. He called a person, asked him to call workers and give them all baskets to bail the darkness out. So from morning till evening, they climbed down, filled the baskets, brought it out, and then threw them into the courtyard. Days went by, and one day the king came down to inspect. Darkness was just the same. And he was very angry, and he said, call more people. You can't argue with these kings. That also is another thing. They are so silly, you can't argue. Then the queen heard about that. The queens are not so bad. In all the stories. So the queen heard about that. And one day she told the king, I find a lot of commotion in one part of our palace. What's going on? So he said, you know, a good part of our palace is full of darkness. I asked them to remove the darkness. How? By bailing them out. And haven't they been successful? No, I don't know what they are doing. I'll go and have a look. So the queen slowly went there. Now to show the queen the way, a light had to go in the front. Otherwise she would fall down the steps. So the more the light went forward, the more the darkness disappeared. Then the king understood, oh, what is darkness? Absence of light. There's nothing called darkness. What is ignorance? Absence of knowledge. There's nothing called ignorance. It's absence of knowledge. What is darkness? Absence of light. Because light cannot be removed by darkness. You bring in darkness and remove light, you can't do. You bring in light, darkness is gone. So another story I have told you. One day the sun heard people talking about darkness. The sun has come, darkness has gone. Every day he hears that. So he thought, what is this thing which everybody sees and I can't? I don't see. So they look into the deep parts of the caves or caverns and say, the sunlight has come and darkness is gone. So the sun penetrated into that, could not see what darkness was. So he went to Brahma, the creator. I have got a complaint. What's that? You are depriving me of enjoying one of the precious things that human beings and other animals are enjoying. Why am I less than them? And what is it? Darkness. And Brahma smiled. He said, all right, tomorrow early in the morning, as soon as you rise up the mountain, you just peep. But the more he peeped, the more light came. Darkness is gone because darkness is not a thing. It is absence of light. In the same way, anger, fear, they are emotions because good emotions are not there. Fill the heart with good, elevating emotions. Self-control, self-confidence, courage, and fear will not have any place there. That's the solution. To get all these things, human beings will have to depend upon God with humility. We have to pray to God every morning. I tell you, you can start now in these days of uncertainty. Every morning, when you get up, if you are in the habit of doing any prayer or japa, after the japa is over, before you get up from the seat, pray to the Lord, please give me humility. Please bless me with humility. If we have humility, we can understand everything. Everything. You practice? It's our arrogance or egoism that prevents us from understanding things because we put forward our own ideas. In humility, we think that we have to learn from them, from life. So we keep back our own opinions. We get whatever we can from the world. Be greedy for what? If we want to be greedy for what? For knowledge. Not for material possessions. If you have knowledge, material possessions will come. You don't have to run after material possessions. Acquire knowledge. Be greedy for knowledge. With humility. And patiently wait. Aldous Huxley in his article, Distractions, says, the petition, Thy kingdom come, has a necessary and unavoidable corollary, which is, our kingdom go. Did you understand? My kingdom is in my heart, it is full. And I say, Thy kingdom come. There is no place there. So it has to go. Only then Thy kingdom can come. The condition of complete illumination is complete purgation. When these principles are applied in practice, it is found that the personal kingdom which has to go, if the divine kingdom is to come, consists mainly of two great provinces, passions and distractions. It is and should be self-evident that Thy kingdom cannot possibly come for anyone who inhabits a homemade universe created by him by his own fear, greed, malice and anxiety. My kingdom is made up of these four: fear, greed, malice and anxiety. So I clean my heart, then God's kingdom will shine there. It's already there. It's already there. We don't have to create it. Tagore, one of Tagore's songs say, Pujar Pradeep Jaliye Rakho, Hriday Levul Maje. Light the lamp of devotion in the center of your heart. And devotion or love. And what happens? The face of God, which is already there, will show itself. It is there. We don't see. Because of the darkness or maya or ignorance of our ego, of our selfishness, it is hidden. We don't have to bring it from anybody. Thy kingdom come, we say. Means what? Please reveal yourself. It doesn't come from outside. It's already there. Fearlessness is already there. So Aristotle says, the ideal man bears the accidents of life with dignity and grace, making the best of circumstances. He looks around and says, oh, things have happened like this. Now what am I to do? Edison worked for a long time and established his lab and did a lot of experiments. And one day something went wrong. He was dealing with electricity and something went wrong and the whole lab exploded. He called his wife and son, come, quick, quick, you will never be able to see this scene anymore. Because he knew that he would not be able to do anything by sitting there and crying. The best thing that he could do was enjoy the scene. So you will never be able to do this in your life anymore. 100 times we make mistakes. And we learn from them every time. If we don't learn, we are fools. 101st time, we are the best among the human beings. Because bits and pieces we have learned from everything, every incident, every failure. So look at the positive side. When the French Revolution was going on, Danton, one of the great figures in that, very rough man, he uttered something which is famous through history. Dare, dare, and ever dare. That's what he said. Dare, dare, and ever dare. He was also guillotined. Doesn't matter. Never turn back. Never sit down and cry. The whole house has fallen down, like Edison's. Look around and build upon the ruins. This thing is here, God has kept there. That is not for crying. The heart is broken, they say. It's not the brain. It's not the buddhi. The feelings get a shock. Then get hold of it using the buddhi and launch your attack on the world. So dare, dare, ever dare. Remember that. Swami Vivekananda says, be moral, be brave, be a heart whole, strictly moral, brave unto death. Never turn back. The situation of the world is not in our hands. As long as we are a part of this whole world, we also will get a tiny part of it, percentage of it. Go along with the world and find out where your little world can be corrected. Don't worry about the Wall Street and all, they will look after it. It's their problem, not ours. Repercussions and pulsations come into our life and see how they have to be calmed. Don't worry about them. Their actions will have repercussions on us. Does not matter. We just study our situation, find out where we can be better. So that's all I would like to say today. One more. Emerson says, whatever you do, you need courage. Whatever course you decide upon, there is always someone to tell you you are wrong. Isn't it right? I like that. Whatever course you decide upon, there is always someone to tell you you are wrong. There are always difficulties arising which tempt you to believe that your critics are right. To map out a course of action and follow it to the end requires some of the same courage which a soldier needs. Peace has its victories, but it takes brave men to win them. Thank you. I bow down to God, the destroyer of the round of births and rebirths, the giver of liberation, peace. The Lord, who is the supreme, immutable, and all-pervasive, beyond the manifest and the unmanifest, free from manifoldness, one, ever blissful, ever gracious, ever pure, attributeless, stainless, limitless like the sky. When the wise meditate upon him, they see him in samadhi. In him who is absolute truth, wisdom, and blessedness, we live, we move, and we breathe. In him we have the center of our being, the center of our consciousness. When we contemplate on the Great Spirit as the self residing in all beings, we realize our unity with all things and creatures in this universe. Everyone is my own. No one is a stranger or enemy. The universe is our dwelling place. The whole creation is our immediate family. It's my own self which is residing in every being, is what Vedanta says. It's my heart that pulsates within every form. It is my understanding that guides and controls every life. When you contemplate on this oneness of yours with the entire creation, there is no place for fear in you, and no one fears you. You fear no one. Inside and outside, you find only your peace and only peace. Repeat in your heart silently, I love every being. I am one with all. My soul dwells in each body. In the soul of all souls, I am one with every being in this universe. Now imagine that rays of love and peace are emerging out of your heart and spreading in all directions, above and below, in front of you. A beam of sweet, gentle, beautiful light of love and peace is emerging out of you, engulfing all the regions to your right. Think that the beam is coming out from your heart and spreading out to your right, becoming larger and larger and larger as it travels further and further from you, enveloping every being, animate or inanimate, into its fold. Now we imagine a beam of light is emerging to your left and traveling towards infinity, becoming larger and larger as it goes further and further, embracing everything within its fold. A beam is going out from you towards your front. A wonderful beam of soft light, a beam of gentle love and understanding peace is traveling from you, becoming larger and larger, traveling towards infinity. Similarly, a beam of light emerging out of you through your back is traveling into all the regions on that side, covering every point, bestowing peace and love. Whether they know it or not, we are sending it. One beam is going downward, covering all the regions till infinity. And a beam of light emerging out of the heart, traveling upwards, covering all the skies and everything till infinity. Now, our heart is the center, just a glow of glory in the heart. From there has emerged this infinite universe of light, love and peace, touching every human being, every creature, stone and tree, water, air, fire, everything, including everything in its embrace. And we remain in the center of this glorious globe of love and peace. Poised beautifully in space. Let us hold ourselves like this for some time. Feel it inside, feel it all around. And think that the powerful rays that have gone from you have touched with its invisible hands every point in this creation. Now slowly, let us withdraw that power from all sides into our own heart. Imagine that infinite globe of power and purity, light and love, slowly coming back into our heart and becoming that point of God's presence in our heart. Peace, peace, peace.